You know what's wild? Most people think they understand how manifestation works, but they're looking for it in the wrong place entirely. They're looking outside. They're waiting. They're checking their phone, refreshing their social media, wondering why that person hasn't texted them yet, refreshing Instagram to see if they're watching their stories. They're like a kid staring at a pot of water, thinking if they look hard enough, if they check often enough, if they do the right ritual or light the right candle, somehow the universe is going to speed things up. And then they get frustrated because nothing is changing. The person they want to attract is still not interested. The guy or girl they're manifesting still isn't chasing them. And so they conclude that either manifestation isn't real, or they're doing something wrong, or they're somehow not worthy. But here's what they're missing. Manifestation isn't being built in 3D. Your physical reality is the last place it's happening. You know what's wild? Most people think they understand how manifestation works, but they're looking for it in the wrong place entirely. They're looking outside. They're waiting. They're checking their phone, refreshing their social media, wondering why that person hasn't texted them yet, refreshing Instagram to see if they're watching their stories. They're like a kid staring at a pot of water, thinking if they look hard enough, if they check often enough, if they do the right ritual or light the right candle, somehow the universe is going to speed things up. And then they get frustrated because nothing is changing. The person they want to attract is still not interested. The guy or girl they're manifesting still isn't chasing them. And so they conclude that either manifestation isn't real, or they're doing something wrong, or they're somehow not worthy. But here's what they're missing. Manifestation isn't being built in 3D. Your physical reality is the last place it's happening. Think about it like this. When a photographer takes a picture, the image doesn't exist on the camera. The image is being created on the film or sensor inside. The physical photograph you hold in your hand is just the final product. It's the thing that comes last. Everything that matters, all the actual creation, happens somewhere you can't see. The moment the light hit that sensor, the image was already done. You don't create the photograph by staring at the final print and hoping it changes. You create it by understanding what's happening on the inside of the camera before anything develops. Your manifestation works exactly the same way. There are two realities happening at the same time, and most people have them completely backwards. There's the 3D, which is your physical reality. It's everything you can see, touch, hear, taste, and smell. It's the text message that finally came through. It's the person who just liked your photo. It's the date that suddenly appeared on your calendar. It's real and it matters. But here's the thing most people don't understand. The 3D has no creative power. It's not a cause, it's an effect. It's a reflection. It's the shadow on the cave wall, not the person casting the shadow. Then there's the 4D. This is your inner world, your imagination, your assumptions about yourself, about other people, about how the world works, the way you feel when you close your eyes, the person you know yourself to be, deep down, beyond what anyone else can see. This is where manifestation actually happens. This is the cause. The 4D is the only real creator in this equation. When you change your 4D, when you shift your inner state, when you become someone different on the inside, the 3D has no choice but to follow. It's not fighting you. It's not deciding whether you're worthy. It's just reflecting back what you've already decided about yourself in the dimension that actually matters. Think of someone who you know is magnetic, who people want to be around, who gets chased instead of chasing. What's different about them? Is it their physical appearance? Sometimes, but not always. Is it that they're doing the right things in 3D? No. It's that they've already decided on the inside that they're the kind of person people want. They walk into a room knowing this. They post on social media knowing this. They go on dates knowing this. And everyone around them picks up on that knowing. The 3D isn't creating that magnetism. It's reflecting it. Here's where everyone gets it backwards. They think they need to change the 3D to change their life. They think if they just find the right dating app, match with the right person, say the right thing, look the right way, the 3D will finally give them what they want, and then they'll feel good about themselves on the inside. But that's not how it works. The feeling comes first. The knowing comes first. The inner shift comes first. And then the 3D has to catch up. It has no choice. Think about the times in your life when you suddenly became confident about something, when you just knew something was happening for you, when you woke up one morning and something had clicked inside, and suddenly you weren't trying anymore. You were just being. And then, right after that, everything changed on the outside. That's not a coincidence. That's the 4D creating the 3D. Your inner shift created the circumstances. Your inner knowing created the opportunity. Your inner change created the person who is interested. So what does this actually mean for you right now? If you're trying to manifest someone who's genuinely interested in you, who's actually chasing you, who actually can't get enough of you, it means stop looking at the 3D. I don't mean ignore your physical reality. I mean, stop trying to build your manifestation there. Stop trying to force it there. Stop looking for signs in 3D. Stop checking whether they're interested in 3D. Stop trying to track your progress in 3D. All of that is just the shadow moving. It's not the source. The source is inside you. The source is who you know yourself to be. The source is the assumption you're living from about who you are and what you deserve. Are you living as if you're someone people are already interested in because they know themselves to be someone people want? Are you assuming that this person or this kind of person is already yours? Not in a desperate way, not in an obsessive way, in a deep, quiet, unshakable way. The way someone assumes they're worthy of love. The way someone assumes good things happen to them. The way someone assumes they're desirable. When you live from that assumption in 4D, when you embody it, when you feel it, when it becomes normal to you, the 3D starts rearranging itself to match. The right person appears, the conversation flows. The attraction becomes mutual. The person who wasn't interested suddenly changes their mind. Not because you did anything different in 3D, because you became different on the inside. And the 3D is just a feedback mechanism showing you what you've already created internally. Neville Goddard said something that a lot of people quote, but very few actually understand. He said, creation is finished. He didn't mean it's finished somewhere in the future. He meant it's finished right now. When you shift your assumption in 4D, when you decide who you are on the inside, the creation is complete. You're not waiting for the universe to build something. You're not hoping for a miracle. You're not trying to convince someone to like you. The manifestation is already done. It's sealed. It's finished. The only thing that's happening now is the 3D catching up to reflect what you've already created internally. And this is the part that changes everything. Once you understand this, you stop stressing, you stop obsessing, you stop checking their status or analyzing their messages, because you realize those things don't matter for the actual creation. They're not the source, they're the symptom. They're the feedback showing you what you're assuming about yourself and about them on the inside. So here's what actually works. You pick the assumption you want to live from. You decide who you are. You decide what kind of person you are. A person who's desirable, a person who's chosen, a person who's irresistible. Not arrogantly, not in a way that's unkind, just as a simple fact about yourself. Then you don't try to convince yourself. You don't try to brainwash yourself. You just live from it. You go about your day from that state. You imagine from that state. You feel from that state. And you persist. Not from desperation, from a quiet knowing. You keep assuming it until it feels normal, until it feels like the truth, until it doesn't feel like you're pretending anymore. It just feels like you. And here's what happens. The 3D shifts. The person who wasn't interested suddenly is. The opportunities appear. The synchronicities line up. Not because you made them happen, because you stopped trying to happen and just became. You stopped building in 3D and just decided who you are in 4D. Neville Goddard used to say something that sounds simple until you really understand what it means. He said, imagination creates reality. Not imagination plus hard work. Not imagination plus plus waiting. Just imagination. Your inner world creates your outer world. Everything you see around you right now is the result of what you've been imagining and assuming about yourself and life. If you want different results, you have to change your imagination. You have to change what you're assuming to be true inside. Here's another thing Neville emphasized. He said, an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. Think about that. An assumption doesn't have to feel true right now. It doesn't have to be supported by current evidence. If you keep assuming it, if you keep returning to it, if you keep living from it, it will eventually become your physical reality. Your 3D will rearrange itself to match your 4D assumption. That's how powerful this is. But here's where most people get stuck. They try to assume something intellectually. They say the affirmations. They try to feel it, but they're not really living from it. They still check if it's true. They still look for signs. They still doubt. And that's the problem. The assumption has to be consistent. It has to become normal. It has to feel like who you actually are, not like you're pretending. When you're truly living in the assumption that you're desirable, that you're the kind of person who gets chased, that you're magnetic and irresistible, you're not thinking about it anymore. You're not trying to convince yourself. You just are that person. You carry yourself that way. You speak that way. You move through the world that way. And when you're truly that person on the inside, the 3D has no choice but to fill in the details. The right person shows up, the attraction is mutual. The chase becomes effortless because you're not trying to be chosen. You already know you're chosen. This is the real secret to being chased instead of chasing. It's not about the texts. It's not about the dates. It's not about being in the right place at the right time. It's about being the right person on the inside. It's about knowing yourself to be magnetic, desirable, and worthy before anyone else confirms it for you. And once you know it, really know it, everyone else has no choice but to know it too. That's how it works. The 3D will follow. It always does. Creation is already finished in 4D. You're just waiting for the physical world to catch up to what you've already decided about yourself. And that's when being chased becomes your normal. That's when the right person can't help but recognize what you've already claimed inside. I hope this video helped you in some way. I will meet you with another video soon.